I'd like to illustrate one way of handling base information, the sort of information that you might get from a survey team. They're likely to give it to you as a DWG or DXF file. We recommend that you get the information as a DXF file and then save it as a gCADPlus LCD file. But I digress slightly. How do we handle that sort of information, assuming we've got it in a form that gCADPlus can read happily? Let's close this one, and I'm in my, well, let's start another one. We'll start with a new default drawing, and what I'll do now is create a new layer, and we'll call this new layer L-base-info and hit enter. It's now the current layer. What I'm going to do is to bring in the base survey. So let's go File and Insert, and we'll bring in the base survey plan. So in it comes, and I had my base info layer current. But what I'm going to do now is create a block of this. I'll call this block base 01. It's the first information that's come from a surveyor, so we'll go OK. Now we can work away quite happily, maybe on a different layer, and we'll draw some circles just to indicate planting. I'll copy them a few times, bang, 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 bang. Maybe we're working on this block of land that's been cut off there, or even this one in here. But I'm sure, let's copy some of those and pop those into the back block. Now, let's imagine that the survey team gives us an updated version of that base information. Let's imagine there are some changes. If we select it, it's a block called base 01. So I can simply delete it because we're going to bring in an updated version. So we just delete it, it's gone, and we say File, Insert, and let's imagine that the team have given us a basic survey plan altered, and we say OK, bring it in, and you may be able to see that changes have been made to the raised deck area. I'd be inclined to turn off that layer 0 that we've been working on, so let's go back to the base L-base layer, turn off layer 0, and I'd be inclined to make another block of this, and we'll call it base 02, and we'll say OK. Then we can turn layer 0, which had our landscaping developments on it, back on. So you can see what we've done. We've updated our base information without the need to select any particular part. So we can go on drafting and moving our design forward while confident that we can bring in any updated drawing that's come from the survey team. Exactly the same approach applies if you have the drawing in DXF form. You might not have taken the trouble to form the gCADPlus LCD. You can use exactly the same approach with File, DXF, DXF in. So let's imagine here's our base survey as a DXF file that may well have come from the surveyor. The surveyor's software is capable of writing a DXF file. When we bring it in, we've in fact got a paper space view, but here is the information that we want, and we can form that into a block in exactly the same way. So what I'll do now, I think, is turn that into a block. I'll just call it TT for the moment, and then I'll bring in the other one, the altered one. So here is a base survey that there's been some extra information done, and what you're going to see is in the zone of the pool there'll be some changed information. So I'll say open, and in it comes. Let's zoom extent, and here's the extra information that's come through. You might have seen in the preview that the polyline that delineates the pool in the preview was filled, which it would be in an LCD file, but In this case, we'd have to actually fill it in that way. So let's remove this one. So that's just a single line sitting on top of another line. There's the other line. This is the whole block that we made into a block. Let's delete it. And now we're working on an updated and changed version of the base information. So it really doesn't matter whether you take the trouble to make the LCD file or just use DXF files. Your base information will be brought in. You keep it isolated, and so you can update base information really quickly, easily and efficiently. What you don't want to be doing is finding that the base information has changed and you have to go through and pick individual entities. You want to be able to pick that base information as one item.